Game of Thrones is a show like no other, but is it worth a rewatch despite the ending? Let's go. Before we kick off this review, my name is Chris and thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it if you hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. This way you'll stay up to date with more fun reviews uploaded weekly. All my reviews are spoiler free, so no worries if you're one of the few remaining who have yet to watch the show. The series ran for 8 seasons from 2011 to 2019 on HBO, and the series is actually based on a series of books by George R.R. Martin called A Song of Ice and Fire. It's an epic fantasy set in the fictional land of Westeros where a number of individuals and noble houses fight for control of the Iron Throne, which rules over the realm. While these powerful families fight for control of the Seven Kingdoms, there's an ancient, mysterious enemy that plans to take over all mankind. Plus, there's a relentless heir to one of the greatest dynasties ever, the Targaryens, who she plans to take back her family's throne. So most of you know there's pretty much 3 main families that the story follows. That's the House of Stark, House of Lannisters, and the House of Targaryens. The main evil that humankind eventually comes to realize are known as the White Walkers, and they're pretty much these zombie-like creatures. There's so many plot lines throughout the story, but the series does such a great job at balancing all these different characters and events to where it feels like it just flows so naturally. I don't think I've watched a TV series before where every single dialogue felt absolutely necessary despite how simple it may have been. The land of Westeros, especially the city of King's Landing, is a place of grueling politics. No matter if there's good news, there's always something or someone that's about to ruin it. The casting for the series is damn near perfect because all the actors do such an amazing job. It's where you hate the villains, even the anti-villains kinda, but you absolutely love the heroes. The cinematography and set designs are superb, with giving the feeling to the audience that they're actually there in medieval times being embraced by knights, queens, swords, and even castles. There's also great emphasis on the climate and location that are very significant to certain families and houses, which actually helps the audience remember them. They also relate this to battle strategies, whether if you're on land fighting with horses, or on the sea with the importance of ships being used in the show, or even in the air flying on dragons. The intro sequence over time actually becomes more and more creative because they'll show like a different place on the map depending on what characters they're telling that episode. And the music, don't get me started on the music, okay? Because that classic theme is a classic for a reason. That theme never gets old. They utilize the score so well throughout the series. There will be times where there'll be like a slow buildup of that score, and it will be so suspenseful right before or even during a battle sequence. And then you'll realize afterwards, like, wow, that combination actually heightened the dramatization of that scene. A perfect example of this would be in season 6 when Cersei reaches her character arc. While that suspenseful music is building up little by little and you actually see all these pieces moving on screen, you just know nothing good is going to happen. Speaking of Cersei, did you know that that actress is from that old Jungle Book movie? So if I'm keeping it honest and real with you guys, I did start watching this show around season 5, so I'm not an OW for this show. You know, instead of OG, I said OW, so original watcher, you know? Okay. Anyway, let me mention a few pros before I get to the negative. When it came to costume design, everything was perfect, whether if it was Jaime's battle armor or even Cersei's outfits towards the end of the seasons. The story has some of the best foreshadowing that you'll ever watch, and each character is absolutely necessary. I love when they do long scenes with no edits in film, and this show has a particular scene with the Battle of the Bastards where it's like just 5 to 10 minutes, just no cuts, no edits, you just see the battle unfolding. I was very impressed with the CGI technology they utilized for creating the dragons. But when those dragons are roaming free, how do they know where they're going or where their mother is? Besides this TV series providing brilliant production value, if I'm keeping it honest and real again, I mean, I think a lot of casual viewers mainly watch this show or are excited by this show due to the blood and nude scenes. I think that's generally where most of the popularity comes from. Plus of how outrageous some of these storylines were. I remember in one of my previous jobs, I had an old coworker, and I remember we had a meeting and we were talking about it. I think this is when the popularity was getting towards its peak. And I remember he mentioned since he has children, I guess there's one of the episodes where they kill off a child. And for that reason alone, he did not care to watch it at all. But me, I love fantasy, so I would have watched this show regardless, especially if I knew about it from the beginning. But I could see how some people that maybe are not in love with fantasy will watch it simply for the vulgar scenes and storylines. Now, as for the negatives, there's really not many, except if I'm going to mention there were a few dark scenes. And as a casual viewer, as in just watching at home, maybe you have a few lights on, it's really hard to see at times, especially for that long night battle. This battle, what I'm talking about, is like the ultimate final battle. And like most of the battle is at night. You can't see nothing. I mean, I get that they wanted to make it as real as possible, right? But for the casual viewer, like I was just saying, I don't think we care that much for that. We just want to see what's going on. I mean, even Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder couldn't. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm not even gonna finish that joke. Let's just keep it moving. But if you watch this complete series like the majority of people, then you already know they rushed the ending of this show. But since I gave it a rewatch, I was really interested to seeing if the last season or two were as bad as we all said they were. And I could confirm that after my second rewatch, that they definitely rushed the story, but in my opinion, it was only the final 3 episodes. So looking back on it, if there were 73 episodes total, then that's really not that bad. However, those last 3 episodes were so crucial to the story, and now that it's out there, we can never get that back. It's just tough to accept because that show had such amazing pacing and dialogue. I still recommend watching a second time because then you'll really remember and appreciate how great the show was as a whole. But okay, let's have some fun now as I give you a few of my favorite top categories. And don't be shy, all right? Let me know who's your favorite down in the comments. So let's start off with my top favorite houses. At number 9, I have House Aaron. Not much to say about this family besides that grown-ass child sucking on his mother's. Let me stop. Let me shut up right there. At number 8, I have House Tully. You know, they're just weird. Very weird people, except for Caitlyn. You know, we love her. Or is it Caitlyn? At 7, I have House Tyrell. They annoyed me with the whole shit trying to make it to the top, but it is what it is. Get it how you get it. At 6, I have House Baratheon. Mainly rooting for Stannis and his claim, besides that one time he sacrifices... Let me just shut up again. At 5, I have House Targaryen. Once the greatest dynasty, but now perceived as underdogs. At 4, I have House Martell. They give me good vibes, and I don't care. They just look like fun people. At 3, I have House Greyjoy. Very honorable and strong family. You know, what is dead may never die. At number 2, I have House Lannister. Traditional high-privileged family with greed. You know, they're just very entertaining. At 1, I have House Stark. Overall, great family values, but something worth fighting for. Okay, so now let's get into my top 10 favorite characters. At number 10, I have Daenerys Targaryen. I just personally thought she was very entitled, but rightfully so. You're definitely rooting for her. I mean, and at least she's on my list. You know, at least she made the top 10, okay? So don't come at me with none of that. At 9, which might surprise people, I have Ned Stark. He has very small screen time, but he sets the tone for House Stark, and he's just a brilliant actor, that guy. At number 8, I have Tormund Giantsbane. You know he's always ready to turn up. At number 7, I have Davos Seaworth. I just think he's a good therapist, and I need him in my life to vouch for me 24/7, on the clock. Davos, let these people know I'm a good dude, I mean well. At number 6, I have Theon Greyjoy. He just has one of the best character arcs, and like I said before, what is dead may never mother love and die. At 5, I have Jaime Lannister because he's another guy who actually has one of the best character arcs. At number 4, and I know this is going to piss people off, but it is what it is, I have Cersei Lannister. I mean, she's crazy, but she drives me crazy for some reason. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is. At 3, I have Arya Stark, and she's just a straight up survivor. At 2, I have Jon Snow, and he's just an epic leader. At number 1, I have... Hold on. Okay, that's just a joke, come on. But at number 1, I seriously have Tyrion Lannister, and this is probably expected, but he's just one of the best actors ever, and his character is amazing. Now for my top 10 least favorite characters. It's going to get messy, y'all. Here we go. At number 10, I have Sansa Stark. I'm just keeping her real. She's just too boring, but, you know, her character is necessary. At 9, I have Ygritte, because she's just too annoying for me. I'm sorry, but I do respect her strength. At 8, I have Sam, and he's just too damn soft, but I respect his knowledge. At 7, I have Tywin Lannister, because he's just a shithead for her father. At 6, this might make people laugh, I have the High Sparrow. I mean, he always bothered me how he treated my girl Cersei. Like, yeah, she deserves it, but goddamn, like, you went hard. At 5, this is gonna make people laugh too. I have Pycelle. I mean, we know you, Pycelle, we know you a damn lie, Pycelle. You old head ass, sneaky head ass. Go away. Oh! At 4, I have Littlefinger, and he's just the most sneaky character of all time. Like, the sneakiest of the sneakiest of the sneakiest. He need to go somewhere and count something. At 3, I have Euron Greyjoy. He's just an asshole, but I respect his confidence. At 2, I have Joffrey. And he was hard to watch at times because of how ruthless he was. And at 1, and if you know, you know, I have Ramsay Bolton because he was just harder to watch because of how evil he was. Now, I was going to do an honorable mention section for those categories, but there are just way too many great characters in this show. So just let me know down in the comments who I should have had in my top 10 or who I should have kicked out. Overall, every season is awesome except the last season feeling rushed. If you loved medieval history, then you may enjoy this show. However, if you'd rather not see blood and nudity, then it also may not be for you. I think everything about this show is what makes it great, but I do appreciate the character development over everything because these stories are so impactful. If you've only watched the series once and not happy about the ending, definitely give it another watch as I did. You'll still notice the pacing shift towards the last 3 episodes, but that still doesn't take away that this series was always a vibe.
Hold on.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, and if you want to see more, just subscribe. If you want notifications for new uploads, hit that bell icon. Also, if you could share this video with your family and friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Alright, just to mention again, let me know down in the comments who are some of your favorite houses or characters, and if you plan on watching this again if you haven't watched it already. And as always, now and forever, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.